What's up, everybody? We alive. Yet another day above soul. Today, we're gonna go off the beaten path once again. And this time, I'm gonna reveal a piece of artwork for y'all. Those of y'all who just tuned in, you're binging some of the videos of me cooking. Not only do I cook, but I also upcycle artwork from reclaimed materials. A lot of it has to do with nature, and some of the things that I shoot or the things that I make have a lot of very deep details. So basically, I've made a big life discovery about myself. And I found out something about me that I didn't even know. So along with revealing this piece of artwork, I'm also going to talk to y'all about demisexuality. So before I go further down the beaten path, I might as well show y'all the picture before I go into discourse. And here it is, ladies and gentlemen. I call this the new Lorax. So I made this picture about a week or so ago, and I said, how am I going to challenge myself? I wanted to do something with a night sky. All the things that I've done yet so far, it had a day sky, an evening sky, or even an irradiated sky. But I've never done one with a night sky. Well, here you go. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the new Lorax. So in a nutshell, in order to keep nature beautiful, in order to sustain nature, you got to put in some work. The woods is not going to be looking like this on its own. It takes a lot of work from you and me. And I drew inspiration from the very last page of Dr. Seuss's The Lorax. Somebody's got to do it. Ultimately, it's up to us to maintain the world. We could either plant trees, we could clean the water, we could tame fires after we're done with it, we could be proactive in solving the issues of sustainability, or we could continue doing what we do. We could still do offshore drilling. We could still dump nuclear material in the water. We could still cut trees down, cut, without any plans of replanting the trees that we grow. We could either care about the environment or we don't have to. But it's up to us to keep it beautiful. I could also argue that this has something to do with human relationships. All right. This is the part where I'm going to stop it here and give it a moment of pause. The conversation that we're going to have is very deep. And I'm telling you now, this is going to be challenged by choice. Today, I'm going to be talking about interactions. How human reproductive organs interact with each other, also known as no-no squares. If I say a word that begins with S and ends with X, this video may be demonetized. So I'm going to be trying my best to keep things appropriate for YouTube's algorithm. So this definitely is, I'm not kidding about this. This is challenged by choice. So if you are not in the headspace to hear about LGBTQ concerns or issues, if you're not in the headspace to hear about no square interactions, if you're not in the headspace to hear about domestic or no square violence, this video may not be for you. I'm giving you a chance to turn back before we go further down the beaten path. But before we go there, I need to give credit where it's due. So the other day, I was feeling hungry. What better way to fill your stomach after you fill your tank by going to Costco? So I go to Costco and automatically I smell they hot dogs. They 100% beef hot dogs. And then I saw a new item on the menu. I saw the pizza, I saw the chicken bakes, I saw the fountain sodas. They have the cookies, although they need to bring back the churros too. Why can't they just have both? But they have a new sandwich, and it was the chicken bacon sandwich. I looked at it. I looked at the ingredients, and I said, I've got to try this. Oh, I saw what I'm good. That sandwich was so good. It had fresh chicken. It had a mayo mustard blend to it. It had fresh romaine lettuce. It had tomatoes. And it had some sort of sweet and smoky bacon jam on it. I took a bite of it, and my life was never the same after that. It was so good, and it was so satisfying, and it was cheap. It was really cheap. So, if you find yourself hungry and you're at a Costco's, you better hit them up for that chicken bacon sandwich, y'all, because it was very satisfying and it made my day. Yeah. So that's the shameless plug. I was about to do a shameless plug for another company, but they're not really open that frequent. So why am I going to lead y'all to a company that isn't open? But I'm still going to, do a couple shout outs when they are open during the holiday season. But anyway, back to our topic at hand. So today's video, we're going to be talking about demisexuality. What is demisexuality? Well, in order to understand what it is, it's important to understand what asexuality means. Basically, if a person is asexual, it means they have no desire whatsoever to have their no-no square touch another person's no-no square. They could stand right in front of a solid 10 bombshell. Really good looking and nice hair, nice clothes. Their nails are done real good. Things may look physically attractive to somebody, but they don't have any desire to have their no-no squares touch. So that's somebody who is asexual. So on the opposite end, you have somebody who is allosexual. Inversely, if a person is placed right in front of a complete bombshell, as in they're a dime plus 99, they got the looks, they got the clothes, they got the glasses, they look like they came fresh from a GQ magazine or Jet magazine where people are on the runway looking fine. As soon as they see somebody who is physically attractive, they're like, I want to touch that person's no-no square. Usually, in most cases, a person may be allosexual. As soon as there's physical attraction, there's also the no-no square attraction. That's allosexual. Demisexuality is on the spectrum. It's not necessarily black and white. In this situation, it's not like you're either a cat fan or a dog fan. You're a Red Sox fan, you're a Yankees fan. You're a Steelers fan, you're a Ravens fan. You're either a soup person or a not soup person. You're either a Burger King person or a McDonald's. In this situation, it is on the spectrum. And demisexuality falls somewhere right in the middle of that spectrum. In the case of demisexuality, it's not necessarily who a person is attracted to. It's more or less how a person is attracted to somebody. A demisexual person will not have the desire to interact with a person's no-no square unless there is a very strong emotional bond. Essentially, in order for a person who is demisexual to have interactions with the no-no square, they have to know somebody. And there's a difference between knowing somebody and italicized knowing somebody. A person who is demisexual, or in this case, demi, they may come across the same bombshell, the same person who is a dime plus 99. They may see that they're aesthetically pleasing to the eye. They may say, oh, that person's got some nice highlights. I like the way their nails are did. Those are some really nice shoes. I like that suit. That person is very well did up. But in order for a demisexual person to want to touch that person's no-no square or interact with it, they are going to have to get to know that person on a very personal level before that even is a thought. That right there is the crux of what it means to be demisexual. Now, there's a difference between knowing somebody and knowing somebody, and I'm going to draw that distinction right away. So if you show me a picture of Whoopi Goldberg, if you show me a picture of, I don't know, Governor Cuomo or former Governor Cuomo, or maybe it's 45, maybe it is Barack Obama. If you show me a picture of somebody, I will know that person. Like, hey, I recognize that person. I know that person. I can identify that person. But in order for me to know that person, I need to feel what is in between that person's eyes and between their ears. Because I need to, in order for me to understand and know that person, there's got to be some sort of level of empathy. With empathy, you don't have to 110% agree with somebody. You could disagree with somebody, but in order to be empathetic, you've got to feel what is within their perception. You've got to see things from their perspective. If a small part of you becomes angry when that other person's angry, that's one sign that you know somebody. If a small part of you starts to feel sad when a person feels devastated, that's the start of empathy. If you are friends with somebody and something really good happens to them, and they're very joyous, they're really ecstatic that something happens. Maybe they won the lottery and they got $1.5 billion, and a small part or even a big part of you is happy. My friends, that is being empathetic, because you are in that person's shoes and you can feel all up in them. That is the crux of knowing somebody. I could be around a celebrity. Do I believe in celebrity crushes? Not really. It's because I may see a Leonardo DiCaprio. I may see a Cameron Diaz. I may see a good-looking celebrity, an aesthetically pleasing celebrity. But I don't know them worth a hell of beans. How am I supposed to feel attraction to someone I don't know? That, ladies and gentlemen, is what it means to be demisexual. So I'm going to go back to my picture for a moment. What you see here is a water can with the demisexual flag on it. On the top it has white. On the bottom it has gray. In the center you're going to see a thin purple line. And in the left center of the flag you're going to see black. White represents all that is no-no square interaction. Gray stands for the gray area that is between. Purple represents the community of the asexual community. And then the black triangle represents how it points toward the center of the spectrum. That is the demisexual flag. There's quite a few misconceptions with demisexuals. First and foremost, some people may think that they have absolutely no desire to interact with a person's no-no square. This, ladies and gentlemen, is false. In order for a demisexual person to have that kind of attraction, they need to know that person. It may take a day to build the relationship. It may take 2 days. It may take a week. It may take 2 weeks. It may take 2 months. It may take 2 years. The amount of time it takes for a person to develop an emotional attraction to somebody varies. It varies from a person's country of origin. It may relate to religion. It may relate to upbringing. It may relate to core values. There's so many things to consider when it comes to an emotional bond. It's quite possibly infinite. Another misconception is that all demisexual people are gay. That, ladies and gentlemen, is false. You can be straight and be demisexual. You can be gay and be demisexual. You can be lesbian and be demisexual. You can be pansexual or bisexual. You could be anything you want and be demisexual. You don't have to be gay. Another very awful misconception is that demisexuals are always playing hard to get. I'm sorry, not only is that false, but it is very offensive. We're not playing hard to get. As a person who is demisexual, I have particular standards. I just want to know somebody before I touch the person's no-no square. That's it. Demisexuals hate online dating. I will say there's just a little hint of truth to that. It's sort of false. It is false, but not really. I will say, as a demisexual person, it is pretty hard to do dating online, because a lot of times I see individuals who immediately want to interact with my no-no square, and they don't even know me. But at the same time, it's a blessing, because essentially when I say I am demisexual on my online dating profile, that's filtering out the trash. Demisexual individuals don't believe in hookups. A hookup is when you see somebody for 1 or 2 days and then you want to touch that person's no-no square. I'm sorry, but you don't know that person. You don't know if they're going to interact with you and then you're going to get the red bumpies. It's just no. With dating, online specifically, you're only seeing through a very small window and not the whole house. That's why it's very challenging to do online dating as somebody who is demisexual. Another misconception about demisexuality is that demisexuals are all neurodivergent. That's false. There are some who are neurodivergent, some who aren't. A lot of times, somebody who is demisexual may tune out a person if they're flirting with them, or they might not get it. At least for me, for a second. If I notice that somebody's like hardcore flirting with me, I'll be like, okay, so what's your intention? Could you please elaborate on what you're feeling right now? Do you want to go out? Do you want to do a date? Do you want to talk about things further? Just be a little bit more direct, you know? It's not that they have a neurodivergent kind of thing going on. Some do, some don't. But not all demisexual individuals are neurodivergent. This is where I'm going to be shedding some light. Some asexual individuals or demisexual individuals are the way they are, maybe because they've experienced trauma, both physical and or mental trauma. Some people may have been assaulted, as in their no-no square was touched, and they did not get consent from the other person. Maybe it was a forceful act that they did not want. And when that happens, wouldn't you feel a little bit traumatized or a lot traumatized too? Maybe after that situation, they would maybe become asexual or demisexual because that desire had been adulterated. I'm sorry, but I cannot sugarcoat that. It's very serious, and for those who feel that it is a-okay to touch a no-no square without a person's permission, whether they're unconscious or not, you need to get a life and really reevaluate yourself. And sometimes it's the mental abuse too. Some people may end up being asexual or demisexual because the person who is identified as their partner at one time was saying, I'm not going to be your girlfriend or boyfriend unless your no-no square touches my no-no square. And that's how it is. And if you don't like it, you can get out. I'm sorry, that's bad too. That right there is gaslighting. It is minimizing a person's value just because they don't want to touch a person's no-no square at that moment. Maybe they just don't feel like it. Maybe they don't know that person enough. Maybe they want to do it because of a health reason. You don't know that. But anyway, it may be a certain situation that may make a person demisexual or asexual. Maybe somebody didn't even go through that. Maybe it's their upbringing, or they just want to know a person before they do it. And well, if you haven't gotten to know this right now, surprise, surprise, I myself am demisexual. Now, how did this particular realization come to be? Well, we're going to hash that out right now. So it turns out I was demisexual and I didn't even know. I was demisexual for a long time. Just didn't know or realize it. But there was a couple of situations that sort of shed light on it, that turned the eco-friendly light bulb on. And I was like, okay, I see where this is going. So about 3-4-ish years ago, I met somebody at a bowling alley, and that person was about to get married, and they were going to have a bachelor party. Usually when a person is going to go to a bachelor party, they go to a strip club. So I wanted to show my love and support for this person, and I really, really do care about this person, by the way. I don't want to share the person's name because that person may not want to be put on blast, but I have enough respect for this person. And if this person is watching this video, I want to send them all my love and blessings because you matter. So anyway, myself and a couple of friends and this person who was about to get married went to a strip club. By the way, this was my first time going to a strip club, and it felt off. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the ambiance, if it was the dark lights, if it was the strobes coming from the stage. It just, something felt off. And you know, there were models there who wore very little to no clothing. Their names were not real. Their personas may have not been real. And it didn't really feel natural. So when I was at this particular club, there were people who did lap dances. I received about 3 to 4 different lap dances from 3 to 4 different models. And I was not turned on by any of them. They were aesthetically pleasing in some way, shape, or form, but I didn't really know them. And it's the fact that they didn't identify themselves with their real name. Well, this is a strip club. It's supposed to emulate a fantasy world. A fantasy world is a dream. I dream of a society where people tell the truth. I dream of a society where people are very real to me or candid with me. They can identify their name. They can identify their motive. There is no particular gray area when it comes to a person expressing themselves. When it comes to that sort of fantasy, that's my ideal of a fantasy world. But then I'm in the middle of this place where I don't know people. I don't know their name. I don't know their motive. To me, that wasn't really attractive. And then there was this particular model who came up to me. And she's like, oh, wait a minute. This was their first time at a strip club? So she freaking dug her nails in my head and stuffed my head right between her chest. And she jiggled it around, jostled it around. I came out of there. My glasses was like this, and I was breathing. I couldn't breathe. I was like, I thought that I was going to die. But once again, I have love for my friends. I support my friends. I hope my friend in this particular situation is doing good. I hope he's doing very well. I wish him all the best. But that particular night, it made me reconsider a lot of things. Here is experience number 2. So there's a plethora, a cornucopia of dating websites. You've got Hinge, you've got Bumble, you've got Black People Meet, you've got Catholic Match, you've got Match.com. You even have something, You even have something called Facebook dating. I've tried all these apps before Facebook dating, and they just didn't work. And yes, I did try Black People Meet. It's just, I don't know. It just didn't work. But I'm still trying Facebook dating. But there was a couple of situations that, somebody matched with me and it faded. And then the next week or two, I matched with somebody else, it faded. And then the next month, I matched with somebody and it faded. But there was a particular situation where I matched with somebody and we were talking to each other for like 2 days. And here's the thing. You have some profiles where it shows a picture, it shows a name, it shows an age, but that's it. How am I supposed to get to know somebody without even having a brief synopsis? I'm sorry, but you better give me like a little bit of an appetizer before I get the whole entree. You're just going to put a picture of yourself knowing, okay, so there's more to this. I want to know a little bit more about you before I get to know you. Don't just put a picture and a name up there. Come on now, you can do better than that. But anyway, I matched with somebody and, we were chit-chatting a little bit. And then this person was like, top or bottom? And I was like, I kind of want to get to know you first before I answer that. And then we were chit-chatting. And then he directly said, are you going to be the dominant person in this relationship? And then I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to have to be direct then. And I said, and I remember this, I said, interacting with a person's no square within a relationship may be important. It is important. But for me, in order to have that happen, we're going to need to have, or we're going to have the ability to have a conversation about life. I want to get to know you on a personal level. And if I can't have that, it's not going to be worth it at all. That text message stuck. I keep thinking about it. But after I told this particular person about my desire, that person ghosted me. Poof! He just magically disappeared. Poof! Ghosted. So after that particular interaction, I started to go down a rabbit hole. I watched certain YouTubers, and I also happened to go to a safe zone training from my job at CCBC. And for a split second, they talked about the word demisexuality. I was like, wait a minute. I hear about this often. So I watched a few YouTubers who identify as demisexual. And I said, wait a minute. I'm demisexual too. So right then and there, things made sense. And the thing is, there's probably a lot of people out there who are demisexual and they don't even know it. You could be 20 years old, you could be 30 years old, you could be 50, 60 years old and not know that you're demisexual. Well, I'm telling you this now. It's not the intention to diagnose. It's just, this term came to be because there may be some people who are confused and they're trying to identify certain things. So now is the time where I wrap things up in a nice bow and send the universe the message. When it comes to a person who is demisexual, they may not want to touch your no-no square or have their no-no squares touch right away because they want to get to know you first. Not all demisexual individuals are gay. Not all of them are straight. You don't know whether a person's demisexual or not from a first glance. That's the thing. We as demisexuals love humanity. We love people. We want to know more. And if anything, we want to challenge you. Seriously, open up. Talk about a funny story. Talk about a serious story. It's not like we're a brick wall. We want to know you. Just explain things further. And when it comes to the whole flirtation thing, we might not get it at first. It's because we want to know what is between your ears and behind your eyes. That's the thing. And once again, I'm not here, and the demisexual community is not here to label. We're trying to make things straight and plain for people to understand themselves and each other. The grass ain't really greener on the other side most of the time. But the grass could be greener if you water it. That's pretty much all I have to say about demisexuality. I'm going to put a few resources down within the description and then go from there. So once again, before we part ways and leave, I have one relatively important question to ask of y'all. If you went to sleep tonight and you ain't wake up the next day, would you truly be satisfied with the life that you live? If your answer is no, then it's most definitely time to do some soul searching and think about some of the changes that you need to make with your life. I say this because there's a lot of things within our society that discriminate. Death still doesn't discriminate. I want to thank y'all for watching my content. If this is your first, second, or third time, hit that subscribe button. It's right down below. I'm going to include the link to my Instagram, Stickerism's Instagram, Nowhere Collective's Instagram, CCBC Collective's Instagram. And I'm also, once again, going to give you more resources on AVEN, which is the Asexual education, network, and visibility. I leave you all with much love, good spirits, and vibes. Until next time, I'll see y'all later. I'm out.